What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks bringing you some Go Battle League battles here in the Ultra League, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles using this team that actually got me to my highest win streak ever in Go Battle League of 22 wins in a row. I know many of you out there probably have longer win streaks than that, but for me I've always struggled being able to consecutively get multiple wins in a row without a loss in between. And this team with Heracross, Snorlax, and a Lowland Muck actually allowed me to get 22 wins in a row. So I have selected a couple of battles from that win streak that I feel like were some really intense battles that showcase me coming back from some tough leads or being able to make some solid plays. Now this backline of Snorlax and a Lowland Muck is pretty common. We've seen it in Ultra League before, typically paired with Shadow Machamp in the lead or Toxicroak sometimes, but I wanted to give Heracross a try, and this team I feel like is fairly spicy. There's no Cresselia or Giratina or Walrein or Talonflame, any of the really top meta picks like that. So let's jump straight into these battles. Let me know down in the comments what is your longest win streak, and I hope that you enjoy these battles here. So in this first game, we are leading Heracross into a Swampert, so the Hydro Cannons will be hitting for pretty strong neutral damage. Heracross is very, very glassy. So, but because they threw a Hydro Cannon before I threw my first close combat, I knew that I could tank one. The Mud Shots are resisted because of Heracross's bug typing, so it's really not doing that much damage. They end up shielding in the first close combat, and I did throw the close combat on the CMP tie because I knew that Heracross would win that CMP tie. So I will shield as well and go for another close combat and see what they want to do here. They end up letting it go, so I win the lead. I tried to swap out of there to preserve my Heracross, but after dropping my defense twice like that, that one charm absolutely melted me. And now I'm in this situation where I have a Lowland Muck on this Sylveon here. I am hitting for super effective damage with these poison type attacks, but Acid Spray really doesn't hit for that much damage, and they end up swapping in an Umbreon. So at this point, I've kind of decided that my Lowland Muck needs to remain on this Umbreon, do as much damage as possible, because at least I'm able to hit neutral in this scenario, whereas the licks from Snorlax would be resisted on the Umbreon because of the dark typing. So I want to keep my Alolan Muck aligned in this matchup and then have my Snorlax saved for the Sylveon. I am going for Dark Pulse here because it hits for more neutral damage, even though it's resisted. After all of the Acid Spray debuffs, I'm able to get a nice chunk of damage there. It is fairly tempting to shield here just to get off this Acid Spray debuff, but at this point the game is over. A full health Snorlax is easily going to be able to handle the Sylveon, and it really is just going to be able to take one body slam to knock this thing out. So we're able to take that game. The Heracross into Swampert matchup in the lead is a little bit scary if they end up taking it to the 2 shields because they get to that Hydro Cannon so fast, but it ended up working out in our favor. Okay, terrible lead. Because Rock Blast is essentially the only thing that I can hit that Trevenant with, but we do have 2 better responses with Snorlax and a Lowland Muck. So I go into my safe swap and I am immediately hard punished by a Machamp. However, this is a non-Shadow Machamp, which means that I'm going to be able to get to 2 body slams here, and I'm really hoping that I can burn a shield in this matchup. I got a shield right there. They sneak a counter while my game is kind of stuttering there, but that's okay. We're able to get off another body slam, and now I have a shield advantage. Heracross, because of the bug and fighting typing, will only take neutral damage from the Rock Slide. I sneak a counter upon entry here. I'm just going to no-shield everything and hope that my Alolan Muck up a shield can potentially sweep whatever they have in the back. I already know that Alolan Muck is going to have a really positive matchup with the Trevenant. So they're definitely going to bring out the Trevenant. You can see I'm trying to instant swap out of there. And in the back is a Walrein. This is a very common team comp as well. Trevenant and Walrein pair very well. And then Shadow Machamp, or having a Machamp like my opponent did, is a fairly nice third Pokemon there. Now, I have 2 shields. It's very likely that they're going to try to bait me with Icicle Spear here. So I end up no shielding this first move, even though I'm pretty much down to my final Pokemon here and still have 2 shields. I'm recognizing that my opponent is just going to go straight for the Icicle Spear at this point. So I did have to end up shielding that. They end up shielding the Dark Pulse because they know that they do not want the Trevenant aligned with this thing. So I go for the combo play snipe with this Rock Blast from my Heracross here. But now I'm in kind of a scary scenario here. I am building up. I was going to try to build up past the Rock Blast to threaten the Mega Horn here. But thank goodness my opponent got scared. They ended up throwing the Seed Bomb. And because of that misplay, I'm going to barely be able to survive this Shadow Ball with a sliver of health. Under tap this Dark Pulse. And this is going to be enough damage to be able to knock out the Trevenant there. So I was definitely fortunate that my opponent was fearful of the Mega Horn there. That allowed me to pull off the win there. Okay, a Kingdra. Oh my gosh. I have not seen a Kingdra in Open Ultra, I don't think, ever. Kingdra used to be a very common pick in like Ultra Premier. But in Open Ultra, definitely a spicy pick. They go for the Octazooka, and I unfortunately do get debuffed there. There is a case to be made that I should have thrown a move before that debuff, but I'm going to get to 2 close combats regardless. I get a shield on the first one, and even with this attack drop, it's really going to hit for a lot of damage. So I'm just going to swap out of there, save my Heracross. They have some energy stored on their Kingdra, and then they end up bringing in this Muck right here. So I'm thinking that I'm most likely going to need 3 body slams plus a lot of lick damage here. So here comes the first body slam. Kanto Muck is very bulky, and Poison Jab is a pretty solid fast move, but unfortunately non-stab Dark Pulse and non-stab Thunder Punch just really don't hit for much damage, especially in Ultra League because the Pokemon are so much bulkier. Down goes the Muck. I have switch advantage. They bring out the Wall Rain. Really going to try to get to this superpower here. They end up bringing in their Kingdra, so I'm just going to go straight for the Body Slam. I think it's going to survive with a little bit of health. Able to fast move this down with my Muck, and we're looking very good. They have the Wall Rain, and I was really thinking that they might bait me here, so I'm going to no-shield this. They do go for the big move of Earthquake. That's totally fine. Non-stab Earthquake, I had a feeling that I'd be able to survive, and I am able to get to a Dark Pulse here. Now, they have to commit to the farm down here, because that's the only way they're going to have enough energy to burn both my shields. So, props to my opponent for playing out their only win condition there, but my Alolan Muck is able to barely hang on, and after this mutual lag here, get off that Dark Pulse, and we're able to take that game. Good game. Heracross into Swampert, another kind of neutral-ish lead that gets a little bit awkward in the 2-shield, but my counters are really chunking, and the mud shots are doing pretty much nothing. I always no-shield this first Hydro Cannon and then see what they want to do. So this opponent tried to catch a move on their Giratina, but we have a Alolan Muck, which is a pretty solid response to this. Now, Snorlax does resist the Shadow Claw damage from Giratina and is able to hit for super effective with Lick, but the charge moves do pretty much no damage. So that's why I opt to go into Alolan Muck here. Even though my Poison Jabs are resisted, the Dark Pulse is able to hit for super effective, and I am still resisting those fast moves from Giratina. I can still survive this Dragon Claw, no problem. We have a lot of energy stored on the Heracross, but I do know that their Swampert has some residual energy stored in the back there. Heracross will win the CMP tie against Swampert like we've already seen. I have switch advantage. They bring out the Swampert, and they are trying to farm me all the way down. I'm not able to get to Dark Pulse, but I'm going to bluff like I have it, so I'm going to throw this Acid Spray. I get a shield. That is really good for me. I know that Heracross is going to win the CMP tie here, and I have energy loaded. I bring out the Heracross, and I immediately go for the Rock Blast, and they catch it on their Typhlosion. That's fine by me. Rock Blast is unfortunately a pretty crappy move, but it does provide Heracross with some coverage for the Flyers. I will shield up this first Blast Burn here. It takes Typhlosion's 3 Incinerates the first time around to get to Blast Burn, and then 2 Incinerates. So I'm trying to keep track of my opponent's energy, and I'm able to get to this Body Slam right before they receive the energy required to throw that second Blast Burn. Down goes the Typhlosion. Out comes the Swampert once again, and no matter what, we're looking good here. We're up a shield. They're gonna spam these hydro cannons, but it's totally fine. I will end up shielding this move here. And this Swampert has so much energy, they're able to get to another hydro cannon, but I knew that my Snorlax is going to be able to survive here with just a sliver of health. If this was a Shadow Snorlax, that definitely would have taken me out. I unfortunately do not have a good Shadow Snorlax made for Ultra League. I just have not been able to find one with good IVs, but I definitely would enjoy running Shadow Snorlax instead. Okay, very favorable lead for me. Whenever my opponent is staying in a matchup in the lead that is not favorable for them, I'm anticipating that they might be weak to Heracross in the back. And in this matchup, I unfortunately have learned that in the Zero Shield, if you don't go for close combat, Walrein wins this. Walrein wins this matchup. So I have to go down a shield in the lead. Not ideal. So let's see what's going to come in. They bring out a Giratina. I do not want my energy to go to waste. So I'm going to swap into my Snorlax, preserve that energy on my Heracross. Out comes a Dragon Breath Charizard. I'm anticipating that this is a Blast Burn. And there is a case to be made. I could have shielded that right there, but I want to see where my opponent wants to spend their shields. Gonna throw one body slam and then able to get to another body slam here. If they save both their shields for Giratina, that's totally fine by me, but they end up using a shield on Charizard. That's okay. Really hoping that I can get to a body slam here, and I'm barely able to survive to get this last second body slam off. This is huge because their Charizard goes down. Out comes Giratina once again. And I know that my switch clock is up. So I will throw this Rock Blast here, trying to burn their final shield, but that actually does enough chip damage to where all I need to do is land a Dark Pulse, and this Giratina will go down. So the Shadow Claws are resisted, the Poison Jabs are resisted, but we pretty much have this game locked in. I do sneak a Poison Jab through there, which is good for me. Giratina gets to these Dragon Claws very, very quickly. I believe it alternates between 5 and 4 Shadow Claws, so very, very spammy. And as we know, Giratina altered form here is extremely bulky in Ultra League. But we're able to land the Dark Pulse and take out that Giratina and take the game there. Good game. The win streak is still alive. Another Walrein lead, so again, positive matchup. However, in the Zero Shield, if we do not go for the close combat, it's not looking great. I always let this first Icicle Spear go through, and they tried to catch on a Charmer this time around, so I will swap into my Alolan Muck. Gonna throw this Acid Spray right here to try to deny any charms that would sneak through, and I do get a shield. I was very surprised that they ended up shielding that. And it was most likely just because they were trying to get a shield back from me. Kind of a bad shield on my part on that Psyshock. I really should have been keeping better track of energy because there was no reason for me to shield that. But preserving the health on this Alolan Muck allows me to get to one Dark Pulse against the S-Cav and then get to another Dark Pulse here against this S-Cavalier. So Alolan Muck is really putting in a lot of work. And I go for the combo play here with my Heracross. And unfortunately, that is not enough damage to take out the S-Cavalier. I really should have went for the close combat. So kind of a bad play on my part. Gonna have to shield up the Aerial Ace. And what is in the back? Oh, it's the Walrein that we saw in the lead. I forgot that it was still there. Going for the Rock Blast because I felt like this was a CMP tie right here. But it actually wasn't. I was a little bit off on my count, so I definitely could have made it to the close combat, but I just went for the guaranteed damage and were able to take this game, no problem. Alolan Muck put in so much work in that secondary matchup. Talonflame lead really, really bad, so I'm going to swap into Snorlax, and they are staying in. I'm going to try to CMP tie them on the Brave Bird, but I threw too early. I threw one lick too early. Talonflame does win the CMP tie here. So I will shield this up because they're not swapping out. I have a feeling that Snorlax can potentially flip switch advantage on whatever they bring in. Okay, they bring in a Walrein. I have superpower, which will hit for super effective damage, but I also have the option of getting a nice big farm down with Heracross and then landing a Rock Blast on the Talonflame, which will essentially be able to one-shot it after the damage that my Snorlax has done with Lick. So there goes one superpower. Here comes an Icicle Spear. Snorlax can still barely tank this. And I'm going to throw this superpower and see what they want to do with their shields. They end up committing a shield there, totally fine by me. I'm going to bring in my Heracross, and I want to be able to counter this all the way down to be able to get to a Rock Blast against that Talonflame. But they end up bringing in Trevenant. This is even a better response to my Heracross. I'm going to try to bluff the Mega Horn here. My opponent goes for Seed Bomb because they want more farm off my Heracross. That's totally fine. I'm bluffing a Mega Horn here. Do I get a shield? No. And I'm not able to get to another Rock Blast. This is very, very bad for me. I come in immediately because I want to force them to have to be stuck in this matchup here. So taking advantage of the Switch Clock, I am able to catch a move on my Snorlax here. They go for the Seed Bomb. And in comes the Talonflame once again. I threw 2 Poison Jabs and then I threw this Poison Fang. I'm trying to not let any Incinerates go through. And they no-shield the Acid Spray. That's totally fine. At this point, it's just going to be Fast Move Beatdown on this Talonflame. And I'm able to farm that down. And all of their Pokemon are pretty low. Gonna throw this Acid Spray here. I know that their Switch Clock is not quite up, so I'm just ripping off this energy as quickly as I can get it. Barely able to get to this Acid Spray here to take out the Walrein, and then the Trevenant is very low, and we are going to be able to Poison Jab down the Trevenant and take that game. That was a tough matchup. We're able to take the win. Machamp in the lead. This is very favorable for Heracross. We resist the counters, but my opponent is opting to stay in. So I'm immediately thinking that, okay, Heracross must have play against whatever's in the back. I'm going to shield up the resisted Cross Chop. Unfortunate. I'm going to go for a Rock Blast and see what my opponent wants to do. They end up shielding. So whatever is in the back is definitely weak to Heracross. I'm going to commit both my shields in this matchup and farm down and see what they want to do. Down goes the Machamp. What's going to come out? Out comes a Steel type, a Berserker. So at this point, I'm thinking, holy cow, are they triple weak to Heracross? There goes one close combat. I'm going to throw another one, and out comes a Registeel. They are triple weak to Heracross, and I don't blame them. Heracross is not common at all in Open Ultra League. So I'm going to absorb this damage from the Registeel because I want to be able to land one superpower on the Regi and then one superpower on the Berserker. I'm going to throw the superpower right here and knock out the Registeel. And then I'm able to get to another superpower right here. Now Berserker is very glassy, but this debuffed superpower is most likely not going to be able to KO. That's totally fine. They can't farm me down at all because Shadow Claw is doing essentially no damage, and we're looking very good here. Triple weak to Heracross. Heracross absolutely put on a clinic in this game and did massive damage to all 3 Pokemon there. Definitely a tough team comp for my opponent. Okay, Heracross into Sylveon. I'm totally walled by this. Got to get out immediately. Go straight into Snorlax, and my opponent is very quick to the response of Walrein. So this once again is a fairly neutral matchup. I do have access to superpower, but it drops my defense and my attack, so I can't throw it very early. I'm going to throw a Body Slam on this first move because then from that point on I can pretty much go straight superpower. And they end up shielding my first move, anticipating that I was going to go back-to-back superpower there. So I was able to successfully bait. They land the heavy-hitting move of Earthquake on me. Nice play. Going to throw the superpower and they let it go through. Now I get farmed all the way down, but I am able to get to a last second Body Slam here. And I get both shields in that matchup. That is huge. I'm able to farm down with the Heracross. I don't want to have to commit any shields here because I know that I'm going to be stuck against the Sylveon. Down goes the Walrein. I'm anticipating the Sylveon coming back in, so I swap to my Muck. And in the back is a Como-O. Dragon and Fighting. I'm going to throw a Acid Spray as quickly as possible here to boost up my Poison type damage. And then my thought process is I need to get to a Dark Pulse. Even though it's resisted after all this poison jab damage, it will hit for more damage than the acid spray. And then I'm hoping that I can even continue to poison jab down this Como. Oh, it barely survives and gets to a last second Dragon Claw. Have to shield this, and I need to get as much damage off on this Sylveon as possible. This is still a very healthy Sylveon. Here goes the acid spray. And then I need to get a Rock Blast off on this Sylveon. So here comes the Rock Blast. This will hit for neutral damage. The Sylveon's defense is dropped because of the Poison Fang, and we're able to counter it down and come back from that tough lead. Good game. Talonflame once again. This is very, very bad. I have to swap out immediately. And my Snorlax is, they're continuing to stay in. That's totally fine. I tried to go for the CMP tie, but they ended up trying to catch on their Registeel. So at this point, this is kind of awkward. Even though Superpower will hit for a super effective, Registeel is definitely dominant in this matchup. And now they're letting their Registeel get so low that my Heracross is not going to be able to get that much farm. And their Talonflame is very heavily loaded with energy. Down goes my Snorlax. There's no point in me fighting for a swap because Talonflame is just going to shred through my team if I have a shield disadvantage. I'm able to farm down this Registeel without getting hit by a move. That's really good for me. Out comes the Talonflame. I throw the Rock Blast immediately, and I want to see what they're going to do. They end up shielding that, and it was a CMP tie, so I have to shield this Flame Charge, and I got to get out of here because these Flame Charges are going to chunk my Heracross. What is in the back? It is a Walrein, and yet again, they have a move stored on their Talonflame. My opponent is being really, really smart with all the energy that they're storing up, and it puts me in a really tough spot. I successfully land the Dark Pulse on the Walrein, and I'm trying to figure out what my win con here is. So I'm going to let that go, save the shield for the Heracross, and the Walrein gets to an Icicle Spear. I can't shield this because the Talonflame has a Flame Charge stored. I throw 2 counters and then throw the Rock Blast to maximize my energy gain. There goes the final shield. I sneak a counter, and that right there is the play that is going to allow me to win the game. I'm able to get to this Rock Blast at the last second, and this is going to hit for double super effective damage and KO the Talonflame. That was a very tough game, and we were able to pull off the win there. One more game in this video, everyone. We have a good matchup here. We are resisting the counters. While our counters are hitting for neutral against the Escavalier, they deny my counter right there. Unfortunate. I knew that this was just going to be a drill run, and because of my bug typing, I resist that. So once again, when my opponent is staying in a matchup that is not favorable for them, I always anticipate that they're double weak to this. I end up getting a shield, so I'm just going to hard punish this and go for the Rock Blast and see what they want to do. They let their Escav go, and out comes the Sirfetch'd. Is this another team that is triple weak to Heracross? I don't know, but I'm able to get to a close combat here. I get the final shield, and at this point we're looking pretty good. This is where Poison Jab Alolan Muck definitely has a lot more play. I shielded up a potential Brave Bird, but they Leaf Bladed me. So at this point I'm going to no shield this, see what they want to do. What is in the back? They are continuing to throw Leaf Blades, and it ends up being a Walrein, another team that was triple weak to Heracross. Holy cow. So we're looking very good here. All I need to do is land a superpower with my Snorlax, and then I know that my Alolan Muck is going to be able to clean up the rest of this battle here. So we're looking pretty good. This is the final battle of the video, and we were able to end up getting 22 wins. Again, my highest win streak ever with this team. I only showcased a couple of the battles that I felt like were more interesting to show. Hope you all appreciate the footage. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all in the next video.